So after 1 month with the Insta360 GO Ultra, here's my honest take. It's amazing for hiking, mountain biking, family trips and travel, and it's something I can carry with me every single day. And I love the convenience, the hands-free POV shots, and the footage quality for such a tiny camera, but it also has its limitations. So let me break down what's great, what could be better, and whether it's worth it for you. So the GO Ultra here is really tiny. Of course, it's bigger than its previous GO 3 or GO 3S. It comes in at just 53 grams, lighter than a pair of AirPods Pro. And honestly, the build quality, it feels so premium with its minimalist logo-free design. So this whole thing here, there's no logos here except for a very faint Insta360 at the back of the magnet there. And on the case here, this is where you see Insta360 GO Ultra, and that's pretty much it. And the design here is really iconic and you instantly know what you're looking at. So compared to my other cameras, this really is the first one that integrates seamlessly with my lifestyle. You can clip it on to the magnetic pendant, drop it onto a mount, or even stick it on random objects, and you can just forget that it's there until you check the footage. Let's talk about what I really like. The magnetic pendant is a lifesaver on hikes or when traveling. You just clip it on and you get natural POV footage without having to hold anything. And it's lightweight, comfortable enough for even long hikes with no problems. Traditionally, when I hike with my family, I'll need to hold my camera on one hand or use my bike chest mount to get POV shots. Plus, I need to hold my hiking stick and also to hold my kids, so it gets messy and kind of troublesome. So with this one, all I gotta do is just mount it on my chest and I'm ready to go. And when I do my mountain biking, I love how it stays stable with flow state stabilization. It shoots at 4K 60 frames per second and the footage is smooth and detailed. But with 360 horizon lock, it only works in 4K 30 frames per second, but for fast mountain bike trails, I will usually keep it at 30 frames per second anyway. I don't really like the 60 frames per second shot and how it looks like. Plus, I'm not doing any backflips, so no horizon lock for me works just fine. And to be honest, this is one of the easiest way for me to film my kids without making them camera shy, and because this thing is so discreet in size, and if you take it out of the action pod, it's really so small, and even if I clip it onto my cap, it's still really small and they will act naturally around me. And with the 2.5-inch flip-up screen, I can still frame my shot when I want to do vlog-style videos with my family. Plus, I can also stick the standalone camera onto my kid and I can still monitor them even though they are wearing it and running far away. So that's pretty cool. So footage quality really surprised me, and despite being so small, it has a 1/1.28-inch sensor paired with a 5nm AI chip. You get sharp, detailed footage at 4K 60 frames per second, plus pure video mode for low light that actually looks decent for night streets or dim rooms. Active HDR also helps balance out the bright skies as well as shadows in the foreground, although it's limited to 30 frames per second. This is also thanks to the innovation from the Ace Pro series, and I love the HDR since the day the Ace Pro as well as the Ace Pro 2. And to be honest, battery and charging is truly underrated for me, and the standalone camera lasts about an hour for 4K 30 frames per second, and for the action pod from my test, I tested at 4K 30 frames per second in pure video mode. So if you use the standard mode, probably it used up less battery life, and I got up to 2 hours and 16 minutes together with the action pod as well as the standalone camera, because you don't shoot continuously for 2 hours, so throughout the day, snapshots here and there, 2 hours and 60 minutes is pretty good battery life, especially on a small camera like that. Plus, fast charging gets you from 0 to 80% in just 12 minutes, which is insane when you're traveling. So when I film my kids on my travels, all I gotta do is just film them, and when I get back into the car, I charge it up to wherever next destination I want to go, and the battery is full when I get there. And because of the magnetic design, you can put this in places where a GoPro typically won't fit, like on a fridge. You can stick it on gym equipment or even tuck it under a bike frame. It opens up so much fun and creative angles. And for the first time on the Go series of camera, I'm really loving the SD card slot. So of course, no cameras are perfect out there. So let's talk about what could be better. So first off, flow state is solid, but if you want 360 horizon lock, as I've mentioned, you're stuck at 30 frames per second, and I wish it supports up to 60 frames per second. But it's not a deal breaker for me, and for my specific use case and how I use my action cameras, I rarely have the situations where I need horizon lock for most of my shots. And personally for me, there's this tilt fix feature, and what it does here is that it will adjust the angle correctly. So if you mount your camera sideways a little bit, it really doesn't matter. So it does work like a horizon lock, but to a certain extent, and once you go over it, it will start to tilt. So that's the thing that really works for me, and I really love this feature. So same issue here, active HDR looks great, but again capped at 30 frames per second, and for fast-paced scenes you can't enjoy that beautiful HDR. But good news for me, I rarely shoot in 60 frames per second unless I'm doing slow motion, and even for my travel videos I usually shoot at 24 frames per second. And another thing here is that it's tiny, so which kind of is a blessing as well as a curse. And without a safety cord or pendant, I'm never really gonna trust it using in rough trails. Fortunately, this is thought through by Insta360 and you get the safety cords right out of the box. As we are shooting more and more multi-format videos, and even for my family videos, I rotate between portrait and landscape mode, and using the Go Ultra is super easy for me, and I can very quickly just switch the orientation of both modes. And you can also easily tell the orientation with how the LED lights is placed. So if the LED light is on top, it's in horizontal mode, and if you tilt it to the side, so now it's on the side, this is in portrait mode. Also a staple to the Insta360 cameras, which I also mentioned earlier, which is the 180 flip screen. And I can easily flip it up and look at my composition when I'm filming. And not only that, but when I'm using the standalone camera or when I mount it on my kids or somewhere far, I can still use the action pod to control the camera. It's all its settings, all remotely and up to 33 feet. But this is just my experience. When I'm filming a vlog style, usually I will check my composition and I'll always flip it down when I'm filming, so that when I'm talking to the camera, I'm looking at the lens, not looking at the screen. And after filming, I can even use the action pod to instantly view my footage without having to run over to whatever or wherever it's mounted to retrieve it. And if you think about it, reason why the footage quality is so good is also thanks to the larger sensor you get here, which is a 1/1.28 inch sensor, which is the size of the main camera sensor when the iPhone 15 Pro Max came out. So in most situations, footage looks great, and when it's dark out, you can still use pure video mode to get usable footage compared to other cameras that would fail. I noticed when I use this camera is that it will automatically adjust and tune my footage to match the ambient light condition. This is also thanks to the new sensor on the camera, which helps adjust the white balance and colors to achieve the best look. And for my mountain biking shots, I love the new 156-degree field of view, which is decently wide enough for most of my use case, and comparing it to my daily driver, the Osmo Action 5 Pro, which has a similar but narrow field of view if I don't use the FOV boost lens. And here's my verdict, and after a month, I've realized something. The Insta360 GO Ultra has kind of quietly replaced most of my other cameras. And honestly, it's not because it's the most powerful camera out there, but the truth is that I don't reach out to most of them as much anymore. Probably because it is also a new camera. But the Go Ultra is smaller, easier, and way more natural to use day to day. And when I'm hiking, biking, or traveling, I clip it on and forget about it. When I'm with my family, it captures moments without making anyone feel self-conscious. And with the battery pod, stabilization, and the large sensor, the footage is honestly good enough that I don't feel like I'm missing out a lot. So for me, the Go Ultra has earned a spot in my kit, and honestly, that's the biggest compliment I can give it. So if you want to check out other camera reviews on my channel, click right over here. And if you want to check out other reviews on my channel, click right over here, and I'll see you over at those videos.